just ask you, why are you here?
I'm here for the Carers March to Parliament. I'm a carer myself, but I also work as a carer support worker as well. So I care for two young men, with one with mental health problems and Asperger's, and the other one with learning disabilities.
Okay, so is this through work, or are they relatives or friends?
No, the boys I care for are my children, my sons, but I also work professionally as a carer support worker. So I also support 200 plus carers in my professional work as well.
Did you get into the care and support because of your children, or was it something you did before?
I found it by accident. I was struggling with looking after my youngest son. He'd had disabilities from birth, and was recognised as having learning disabilities. But that was all I was ever told. Any other information I found out for him was by trial and error. And I went to an open day at a leisure centre one day and met somebody from class, an advocate from class, and quite literally, as daft as it might sound, she turned my world around. From there she showed me how to get disability living allowance for him, what support was available out there. They offered me friendship support. They even helped me get training so that I could do what I do now as in a professional capacity. I went back to college with their support. They've done so much for me that they've taken me from literally gutter level up to where I am today, where I'm prepared to stand up and argue the issue for carers and tell government exactly what they're doing and what they're doing wrong.
How do you think carers are currently treated by the government?
Appallingly. They've got different things. Oh, we've got this carer strategy and that carer strategy. What they haven't done is actually listen to what carers have said. Carers live in poverty. Even myself as a working carer, I still live in poverty because I can't afford to pay for my son to be looked after whilst I have a break, because I don't earn that amount of money. I certainly don't get the Carers Allowance because I happen to be working, and therefore, as far as the government are concerned, it's not that important. I'm just a working carer. But my son, I haven't had a break from my son for over 2 years. My relationship with my husband sometimes gets extremely difficult because we don't have any time to ourselves. And supported living, where my son was originally, was such a joke. It failed miserably and he had to come back home. So then all the burden and all the work that I'd done previously to him going into supported living was completely undone.
Sorry, can you explain what supported living is?
Supported living is for people with learning disabilities, mainly where my son is concerned, was for him to be able to live in his own home or in accommodation. In his case, it was sharing a house with 2 other people. But there was no real support for him. Even though we were supposed to have had the support, it wasn't there. So he ended up getting in trouble with the police. He didn't pay bills, he didn't look after himself, he wasn't eating properly, he wasn't caring for himself. And although I was constantly down there, which I wasn't supposed to be, saying he needs this, he needs that, and with me trying to help him, it just all went completely wrong, and he had to come home. Even it should have gone to complaint only. I was just so relieved to get him out of there. I didn't take it any further, and he's not the first case, and he won't be the last case either.
So do you have people looking in them apart from yourselves?
No.
People responsible living?
Absolutely nothing. No.
Do you think that carers are often overlooked by society?
Yes. Yes. Carers often become isolated. They spend so much time caring in their own home that when they get 5 minutes to themselves, they haven't got the energy to go out. Besides which, by that time, they've probably lost all their friends and contacts. They're certainly not working, or those that are working, by the time they get home and 5 minutes to themselves, they don't want to move. So they miss out on so many things.
So in regards to when in society, do you feel they've become isolated? There's not enough awareness in society?
Yes, very much a lack of awareness. People will often think of a person with a disability as just somebody in a wheelchair, They don't necessarily see that a disability can be a mental health issue. It doesn't stand out, you know, their arm's not falling off, so it's not obvious. They don't wear a tattoo that says mental health illness. They look like you and I. People with learning disabilities just look like you and I. So how would you know whether that person stood next to them was a carer or not?
Okay. Do you think more awareness is needed for carers?
Awareness, yes, but more than that, recognition. Not lip service recognition, which is what we've received for the last few years, but proper recognition. Reward for what we actually do. Like, let's pay us for a start, that would help.
In which ways do you think awareness can be increased?
Pay carers for what the job that they do. At the moment, the appalling amount of Carers Allowance, that's if you're entitled to it. As a working carer, I'm not. Pay them a proper wage. They do a proper week's work. In fact, they do more than a proper week's work. To qualify for the pittance of Carers Allowance, you have to be caring for 35 hours or more a week. Doesn't that say something when most full-time jobs are 35 or 36 hours a week?
So then how do you think awareness can be increased?
Pay them.
But how about through the media, more campaigns?
Campaigning works, yes, but let's recognise carers for what they are. We're hidden in cupboards, very much, because we don't have the ability to go out there and argue the issue. There's not masses of people here today because most of them can't get out. Not to be able to do a day like this, because it's those that are here that have managed to find respite probably had to jump through hoops, bend over backwards and done all amount of circus tricks just to get here. But we represent so many more than that. We represent people that are not here because they're hidden, they can't get out. And those that haven't even recognised the fact that they're caring. Those that think they're just mum, dad, husband, wife, whatever.
And lastly, what additional factors are needed for carers to function better?
A wage, which would then give them the recognition. If you are a earner, you are respected. If you can say, yes, I actually get paid for what I do, that gives so much more respect rather than, yeah, you get a pittance of a so-called benefit. Okay, right, now I've got to run.